Let me say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever part of the world you are joining us. We want to say welcome tonight to another edition of the Miles TV Self Awareness and Emotional Intelligence Show. This month we are on self awareness and emotional intelligence, and tonight is another great edition that we are here to discuss the topic that says relationships, community. The topic that says conflict resolutions, solving problems without violence. And it's going to be a great discussion tonight. We are going to talk about conflicts. We all know that we live in a dispensation that every time we have some misunderstanding in life, but when these misunderstanding arises, there are channels in which we can be able to resolve them. So tonight we are here with another edition of the Miles TV where we're going to talk about conflicts, and we're going to talk about
Yes.
resolutions. We're going to talk about solving problem without violence. Philip, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'll be back. Let me share.
Okay, okay. So we want to say welcome tonight, wherever part of the world you are joining us from. We say welcome, and it's going to be a good time tonight. The discussion is going to be a fruitful one. Just stay tuned because nowadays we see conflicts among families, at our workplaces, uh, and in school, in society at large, sorry, we find ourselves sometimes we have some disagreements, because we have to disagree to agree. Sometimes our disagreement lead to intensive, misunderstanding, sometimes misconceptions, which of course we talked about conflicts. But yeah, we said whenever conflict arises, there's a means that we should find solution to it. Doesn't mean we should try to understand it. That means we must try to find, common ground. And that's why we are here tonight to talk on the topic conflict resolutions, solving problems without violence. So we want to say welcome tonight, wherever part of the world you are joining us from. Philip, let me say welcome, and how are you doing, my brother?
Pretty good this afternoon or morning, night, evening. I'm doing fine. And it's kind of cold here, but I'm just kind of trying to do our brain. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. I need to get my shite. I think I don't know who are those people who gonna go Punjab anytime from now. Even though I plan, but then I'm on exam now, so maybe anytime soon. Yeah. So we want to say to our people that's a Miles TV brand. You can
Yeah.
see it right there on Philip. Yeah, you can see our logo. We know at times to come we're gonna be producing a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things we're gonna be producing. And I believe some of these things gonna be given away to our fans or followers. We're gonna give it to you whatever part
Right.
their location gonna be, we're gonna see our best. So tonight, Philip, we're gonna go straightly before we go to the time because I think our guest, um, we are trying to see how best he can get here. But what he's still making his way. Let's at least take our musical, our commercial break, and then once we get back, we're gonna start the ball rolling. We're gonna start discussion.
Right.
Oh, my TV, light in the world. My TV, shine on the screen. Voices of hope, live
Okay, we want to say welcome back tonight to another edition of the Marriage TV, whatever part of the world you are joining us. We are so glad to be here on this show tonight on a very unique topic that every one of us today have been affected some way, somehow with, and we are here tonight to talk about it. There are a lot of us, sometimes we go into fight with some of our colleagues. We have some misunderstandings sometimes, even at our school area, at our working place, or places, even in our home, Philip, we have some misunderstandings sometimes. But what
Absolutely.
happens? Sometimes we find that when it comes to finding those common ground for those misunderstandings, it become problem
Right.
because people don't want to agree when it comes to taking a blame. That's one of the things we found out today. People, whenever you say the truth to them, when there is a conflict, whatever come up, and you say this is it, they don't want to admit the fact that yes, indeed, there was a one. And sometimes, Philip, these conflicts that we talk about today are sometimes not created by the two partners, or two opponents that will be into it. Sometimes it has been created by another individual. Sometimes like we usually see in our dispensation today. Let's take for example female story for us using your gender tonight, but we have to say most especially you're gonna see another female from outside try to take news from Esther Brown, carrying it to Mary Brown. These kind of things that happen sometimes, in friendship. And what happened at the end of the day, whenever these two decide to realize that these are things that have been happening, and they are trying to realize that all these things are happening right now is due to Esther Brown, who decided to bring this thing in and try to confront Esther Brown into it. Esther Brown no longer want to take the blame, you know, and it has become serious problem in our society. What happened at the end of the day? These conflicts try to escalate, from one place to another place, become problem. And what happened when there is when we cannot resolve the conflicts? What happened? It try to extend from one person to another person, from one family to another family. I don't know whether you are living in a community where you see there was a conflict that was just between two individuals, right? But at the end of the day, the conflict affected the both individual families. Yeah, because everybody want to haul and pull their self, want to show their strength and other things that those things that sometimes it pin me feeling. That's why I usually say to people, there are some situations that I think should be solved in 5 minutes. When we're taking an hour to solve it, it began a problem to me. Yeah, it began serious problem because it's just like you have to listen and explain. You talk and I also listen, and we try to find a common ground. Try to correct our little mistakes and other things and try to work on. But nowadays it's not happening, Philip. Let's have this conversation tonight. What do you make about the issue of conflicts? You as a person, what do you make of it?
Naz, thank you for bringing me into the conversation. And based off your perspective, you just shared about two parties having a misunderstanding or a conflict between them, right? And then there are significant others being affected by what has transpired, between those two people, right? Whereby significant others are not to be, affected by a little conflict between us. But what happens is that whenever there is a conflict between two parties and it is not kind of handled well, in a wise manner, in a very calm manner, in a very respectful manner, you have others being affected. Because, mind you, everyone has their own side to take. Everyone has their own people, their own favorites. So I won't like, someone coming from outside to hurt you, someone coming from outside to harm you, to have an argument with you. So I will be biased, right? I will be biased in that situation. Whether you're right or wrong, I will be biased because you are my favorite, you are in my circle. So that's what happened in our communities, like you said. So an argument sparked out, and then everyone is kind of taking sides. No, it's not about we taking sides, or it's not about we showing how strong we are. No, it's not about that. It's all about what has happened. That has happened due to a misunderstanding. It did not happen because I hate you or you hate me. No, It did not happen based off that. It happens based off the fact that there is a misunderstanding between us. So since there is a misunderstanding between us, our significant others are not to come in, people say, to add, gas to the fire or to add insult to injury. No, you don't do that. What do you do is that you handle the conflict wisely, respectfully, and in a very calm manner. Then we can be able to avoid, a heated, debate or a heated conflict between us. So it's very important these days, we as young people, even in our families, with our mom and dad, our siblings, our nipplings, our paplings, it's important that we forget the traditional thing. It's important that we trash it. That once Maya did wrong to me or I did wrong to Maya's, and then everyone is kind of taking sides. No, you have to come into the conversation. You have to come into the conflict with a wise resolution. You have to come into the conflict, respectfully. You have to come into the conflict uh, without you being, on this person's side or that person's side. But what we notice and what we observe, past years, people would just take sides and then everything kind of get, heated up. And like you said, if we were to take 5 minutes to resolve, that conflict, we are taking about an hour, 1 week, 1 month, and people go along with it. People live along with it. You have animosity in your heart. You have malice in your heart. You carry grudges, for your fellow man. That's not good, right? So it's important matters. We as young people, mom and dad, bre-
Yeah, sure,
so
sure, my brother. You
we
know
come.
that yeah, you know that I usually tell people that in order for a friendship, to get to a place that become very strong, that whenever situation arises, nobody gonna go. You have to have some misunderstanding on the way. Because conflict is normal, right? It's natural thing that happens. It will occur every
Yes,
time. You understand? But a lot of us don't calculate on that. We feel like once this person is my friend, uh this person should not automatically offend me. Yes, I agree with that thought. But mind you that sometimes people might err, people might make mistakes sometimes. And these are
right.
mistakes that sometimes rise to conflict and other things. So you should also try to know that, in a friendship, uh, whatever kind of friendship it might be, whether family, whether from the workplace, whatever place, even at sometimes, like I was saying, right, at our workplaces, we work with people sometimes. You try to prevent yourself from certain attitude of other people. But mind you, those people at that particular place, they are people from different diversity that went there to work under one umbrella. So once we say different diversity, those people comes with different type of training. The way they grew up, the things that they do to their various places are different, right, from yours. So sometimes if you are not able to adapt to their system or adapt to their behavior, what happens sometimes? There where we see conflicts try to come in because it becomes misunderstanding, right? Misunderstanding. Once a person try to do things, you doesn't understand them. When you also do, they don't understand you. It become misunderstanding. But what happened,
Yes,
like we said tonight, yeah, we have to get a common ground, and try to see how best we can try to sit around the round table, right? We shouldn't say sit around the round table, Philip, and we try to discuss as an individual. I think my brother, my sister, I feel like, yeah, that's your own kind of living, and this is my own kind of living. But I want to say to you this is how I felt about those things that you did to me, and I think that it was in my own mind. I did not feel good about it. Try to express yourself. Another thing in conflicts is that they kind of form a manner in which we express ourselves to people. It also escalate the conflicts. You understand? It escalate it. You have to be very, very polite in expressing yourself to people. How, be it what kind of situation it might be. I said it here the other time and was like, are you serious about that? I was like, yes. I tell somebody I've reached to a level where I don't care how you insult me because I feel like that insult not going to put any mark on me. But mind you, I'm quite different from you, Philip. If somebody try to insult you, you might take it in different forms and manner, right? You have your own way of approaching it. But we say in approaching those things, you must try to be very polite because
Right.
in a society we live in today, conflicts arises. Conflicts, we see conflicts every time. There is misunderstanding. But be very polite in handling these things. That's why we talk about solving or resolving it. Whenever it comes, let's sit on the round table and try to discuss it. Like you said, another key thing. There are a lot of us who people feel like yes, we can resolve problems, but whenever they bring us in that problem, we make it so worse. It becomes worse, right? In a sense, you come now to come and talk between, let's say, Philip and myself having a misunderstanding. We decide to bring Afra in a picture to look at this misunderstanding. But maybe Afra being very close to me, what happened at the end of the day, he don't want to make me, he don't want me to look at him that with that ugly eyes, that evil eyes. What happened at the end of the day? He tried to bypass the truth, telling me and try to, free me some kind of way. He don't want to tell me that yes, indeed, I'm in the wrong position. What I did was very wrong. Imagine what I did to feel it was something that was wrong. But he don't want to express that to me. What happened at the end of the day? He want to seek sympathy makes to seek his interest, right? We talk about sympathy seeking interest. No, you don't do it when it comes to resolving conflicts. Conflicts, you have to be very straight to the point. That's why you see, Philip, whenever people come to me with, explain that, oh, this thing happened, I realize nowadays, I don't just listen to one side of the party. You understand it? There where most of us will make mistakes, right? As some people say things right away, what happens? We already concluding our mind that, oh, this person was right and this other person what did this was wrong. No, you always listen to the both parties because whenever the both party has spoken, what happened at the end of the day? You do some analysis. You do some analysis to understand, right? You ask some questions to them, the both of them. But sometimes, I know another good thing that we should practice to do whenever you are being called to resolve conflicts, you listen to the both parties individually, and what happens at the end of the day, you bring the both parties back after make some analysis, right? You ask them question where the both of them are there. You know what happens, Fede, when people are present, wherein they have the way they can paraphrase, the way they can polish, the discussion where the other individual were in there, right? The way they will polish it when that person has been present, right? What happened at the end of the day, they will be very, very careful now. They won't say, exactly what has been said before. They will try to, even if you try to be so straight, that's where you get to know that there's a problem, and you can find a common remedy for that. So, like tonight, we are here, we say there's a reason why we must try to solve every conflict that arises, be it from our family side. I
Right.
feel like a lot of our families today are going head starter, you know, brother taking mansa, sister taking pasa, and a lot of things, are happening today in our society. Only because there is no level of resolving these things. In fact, people who have come on board to resolve these things have been the one have been escalating it.
Right.
So tonight we are here to say, what are those common, means we can see how best to solve this problem when it comes. Philip, in your own practical skills, in your own practical knowledge, Philip, why do you think that sometimes bring conflicts, and what are those remedies you think we can find in solving them?
Thank you, Matt, for that beautiful question. Before we, talk about the resolution, I believe that we've got to talk more about, the the reasons, why we see conflict, right? The reasons why people tend to go into heated argument with each other. So I would like to make this very clear to all of us that many a times we see, small issues tend to grow into a very big problem. Just a little issue, just a small issue. People kind of make it, gigantic, and when it goes beyond that, we find it very difficult to provide a solution. Many people, I tell you for free, many of us, young people, we don't know the reason why conflict happens, why we see conflicts. But I would like us to know tonight or this evening or morning or whatever time, I would like us to know that whenever there is a conflict, that means there was a misunderstanding between me and the other person, or between you and the other person, right? There is a misunderstanding. And how do we, see misunderstanding? How do we encounter misunderstanding? We do encounter misunderstanding whenever there is a broken communication. Like I told you, Myers, and always I tell you guys on this platform, I'm actually big on communication. I like to talk. I like to test. I like to talk things out, right? Because whatever I communicate to you, I don't know how you I don't know how you perceive it. I don't know how you kind of take it in. So I don't know whether or not you are affected about what I said to you. Your ability to reach out to me and be like, hey, yo, man, you said this, and I don't like it. In my own mind, in my own thought, right? I thought I was saying well. I thought I was speaking right. But on the contrary, no. It means something different to you, totally different to you. Why? Because you have your own emotions, you have your own thought process, you have your own way, of understanding things, of processing things. You have your own way. So whenever we see misunderstanding, I'm sorry, whenever we see conflict between friends or in family or at your job site, that means there was a broken communication carried out. So based off that, we should be able to tackle the broken communication as to what was said, right? What did this person say to you? What did that person say to you? Now, if we kind of, make that analysis, we make that inquiry, then we can be able to make the analysis by providing, the solution. So we need not, make small issues into a very big one. No, we need not do that. So we have to discover what has happened, what has gone wrong. And most of the times it's based off broken communication. So before we even enter into a conflict or before we can encounter a conflict, my people, I'm saying to us that we have to be clear with our communication. You could be speaking to the person, verbally. It could be a text to the person. Whatever means you are using to communicate with the person, right? You should be very clear and to the point. Why? Because you don't know the thought process of that person. You don't know how the person understands things. You don't know how they kind of consider things. You don't know how they react to things. You don't know their reactions. Neither do you know their emotions, right? You may mean well, but they said no, you don't mean well. You may mean right. They said no, you don't mean right. You mean wrong. So whatever we say or do to others, as I'm saying to us on this platform, that we should be very clear and to the point. Now, one thing we have to consider, all parties involved, right? Be it our friends, our mom and dads, our brothers, sisters, your colleagues, our bosses, whoever. Always be, aware about people's emotions. I mean, it's difficult, to kind of figure out someone's emotion. Many people, kind of hide that within themselves, but many people are very expressive. They will express that, right? So you have to be very aware about people's emotion. You have to be very aware about people's emotion and reaction. Now, if you kind of see those two things, then only you can be able to find a better solution. Because we all come with different angers, different frustrations through the day, temptation, depression. We all have our own things we're going through. So if you ever did this to me today and I smile with it, it doesn't mean that you do that to me. The next time I'm going to smile. No, because I'm going to be, carrying different emotions, right? So let us try to, you know, be very self-aware of ourselves, number one, and also we be aware about people's emotions and reactions to things. Now, when a particular thing that was said and is not clear, let's try our best. Let's ensure that the person who said what they had to say, the person who wrote what they had to write, let's go to them for clarity rather than we going to the next person, the other person, and then just small problems. we see it turn into a very big problem. So I will stop
Thank
here
you.
and
Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you for that. We want to welcome our guest who just joining us. Sir, we want to say welcome, Mr. Jackson uh, El Solo the second. How are you doing, sir? And welcome to the Miles TV.
I'm good and thank you. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm so grateful to be here. I hope I'm
Just be a
audible.
little bit audible for us, sir.
yeah, you've got to put a little
Okay,
bit in your voice, bro.
so I said I'm good and I'm honored to be here. I hope you guys are good as well.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess I'm audible now, right?
yes, you're doing well.
Okay.
So thank you so much. So before we go to the discussion, we want to say sorry to our audience out there for our guest Johnny late. We've been facing some technical issue, but he's here already. So he's the main man for tonight. We're gonna have this conversation, But before we go through, the question and answer before we discuss tonight, sir, our people would like to know you. Can you just do an introduction of yourself tonight on the Miles TV?
Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm honored to be here. I've heard about this Myers TV show for some time now, and I actually get to know this all important platform through a friend, Point Annie. And I'm Jackson L. Second. I'm a student studying in India. I'm a bachelor candidate studying computer application at the Siksha Oanizana Team to be University. And also, I'm part of the AISI leadership deputy speaker. And currently, I'm residing in Odisha State. So far, so good. That's the little introduction that you
That's
need to
great.
know about Jackson as well.
That's great. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I'm honored.
We hope that tonight is not just going to be your last time being here. We hope to have you some days again to discuss issues
All right.
that we can help to make our society together better. Because, like we said, our program has been run here. We understand that there are a lot of things affecting our society today, and we see it wisely to bring them that we young people, that our people say we are the future leaders, and are sure we believe in ourselves being the future leaders that we can try to handle before time, that we also cannot be affected to it. That these things of our parents, their mistakes cannot continue. We can try to cut it off and then make our own new generation of those ones that coming after us. So we are so glad having you tonight. And we are here tonight talking about the topic conflict resolutions, solving problem with our violations. So we want to start first this we were discussing already before you come in. I know we all been hearing about conflicts. So, in your own word, why do you really make of conflict, and how do you see conflicts today in our society at large?
Well, let me say thank you again for this platform. And when I received the information about this topic today, I was actually overwhelmed because you see, when it comes to the war conflict, it is something that is actually affecting the world. And currently, we are experiencing a huge level of conflict that is actually bringing about serious issues towards the universe at large. So, the war conflict, it is something that we have series of definition as it relates to that war. And once you have a war conflict, or maybe once you have something that actually let's say relates to that war, it brings about a negative atmosphere wherein our people suffer a lot when it comes to expressing themselves freely, when it comes to doing things freely, have that kind of negative atmosphere. So a conflict is about an argument wherein two individual have that makes them to actually have the kind of maze feeding in a sense that they lack proper expression. They don't really go about doing things normally. Because for example, if I have a conflict with a friend now, uh, I will not go about doing things freely with that person because of that conflict. So it just have to do with a misunderstanding or maybe a little argument. So like relating to the topic on our discussion, conflict resolution is about turning argument into understanding and problem to solution through a calm communication. So when I received this kind of discussion that we are having tonight, I was actually moved, and I actually look at it to be something I can better use in order to share my thought towards this entire issue of conflict resolution, because it is one thing that people don't really understand. They just go about it based on how they feel, based on how the situation occur. And one good thing that I see in when it comes to conflict resolution is about having an open communication to know how you feel and how the other person feels too that you are having that conflict with.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, we appreciate that so much. So another thing, like you said, right? These are things that happen today. Today we look at the war at large. Let's take for example, we have right now we have Ukraine. How you call them? Iran, and then that of America, that of Israel. You see what is happening right now. And if you look at the come of course for that particular war, I think it should be something that those leaders should come to the table where they can discuss these situations and find a very common ground. But nowadays it has been escalated, and now we see in the world there are other countries who try to involve themselves, right? In the midst of them coming there to find some solutions, but rather they are coming there. What happening right now? You will hear that this other country they are pledging their allegiance to this other country. They are also pledging their allegiance to this other country. And what happened at the end of the day is begun it's escalate, right, from one thing to another thing. And we hope that we can see as an individual, like whenever these things arises, let's find a common ground. So now we sorry to say, but we have to talk it. Let's take for His Excellency Donald Trump. Most people felt like Donald Trump taking power was going to be a great help to the world, right? Every one of us felt that way, right? We felt like Donald Trump coming to power is going to be a very great help to the world. Sorry, we don't discuss politics, but sometimes we have to go this way. We have to say the reality and then just play it that way, right? Yeah, people felt like he was coming to bring that change to us to see how best to solve problems when it arises, because looking at America, right, being the world superpower. But what is happening today? You even see the world superpower going against people in case of in the sense of solving the problem. Now they are hating on people, right? And they are not going there to solve, but they are escalating things that was between just Ukraine, how you call them, Iran, and then that of Israel. You see America have taken more interest in it, and which of course it should not be that way. We understand that Fede, I know Fede want to say some things because that's his puppet Donald Trump and other things then, but we have to say reality, right? Every one of us we saw Donald Trump that way. We have to say it, right? So you see what happened now. We felt like he was going to go there with peace. We remember when our country we in right now, right? When we had the conflict with that of Pakistan, you saw what happened, right? He also came in and people was like, yes. You understand it? You saw how do you call Russia and then that of how you call them, Philip?
Ukraine. Ukraine.
Ukraine, right? You saw it. At the end of the day, you saw Donald Trump in the place of going there to bring some resolutions. At the end of the day, he started taking side because he felt like, oh, this other person, no, it is not her. You listen to the both side of it, understand the weight of it, because for that, it's a very heavy one because it has to do with nations, right? It's a very heavy one. You try to understand, know the depth of it, and see how best you can find a common ground. But nowadays, it is not happening. We just brought this in so every one of us can try to understand. But let's ask our guest this question. Uh, Sir, there's a question to you. What do you think has been the common cause of conflicts among young people and family today? There are a lot of families, there are a lot of young people today. You see conflicts, always arising among us, always at our workplaces, at our school. Everywhere you go, you see young people are getting into conflicts. And even that look at Liberia today, you see a lot of, sometimes you just see for just a little of nothing. You see a young man will just look at his brother and stab his brother. We want to reflect this. We don't saying this because look at what happened to our brother, right? Who was killed in India a few months ago, right? It was just a little issue that could have been settled. But what happened at the end of the day? And we don't know what came to their minds or how they felt and what have you. They escalated it, and what it led to was death. So there's our question to you. What do you make of this question, sir?
Okay, so Miles, thank you so much for that question. I will always say this. I am proud of you and every other person that have established this platform in order to have this open conversation to enlighten the minds of other young people and probably to add to what others have learned in order to move about when it comes to these little issues that happen in life that make for people to actually spend the rest of their life in jail and some people losing their life. You know, I want to say that there are people who might be listening to me this hour uh, that are faced with some of these issues that we are about to discuss or that we have discussed already. And I know that from here they are going to make some changes. So coming to your question, what cause conflict between family and young people? So the first thing I would tell you is miscommunication.
Right.
Miscommunication is one of the serious things that bring about conflict. Now, let me give an example about miscommunication first before I move further. When we discuss about miscommunication, is about, in simple terms, is about you not clearly understanding what is in the person's mind or probably what the person is saying. For example, Marius, permit me to use you as as an example. For I just call you and then you didn't pick my call, Marius. And then once I see you in person, I'll be like, Marius, you are so savage. You didn't pick my call. When I call you every time, you don't pick my call. Like, I don't really listen to, like, for example, I didn't listen to you why you didn't pick my call or I didn't ask the question. I just conclude based on how I felt because you didn't pick my call. I misunderstand everything that happened. You two being the person that who doesn't understand how I feel. If you say if it's their response gonna be that if you say that I'm selfish, so be it. Right away we have conflict between us and way in which you're gonna make that noise. We are going to, scatter our long-term friendship. Now, another thing has to do with lack of trust. You see, if I don't trust you, there are some communication or there are some issues I won't bring to you, and there are some things I won't discuss with you. Now, moving onward, we look at the issue of peer pressure. It is very, very much common. Let me just narrow this down based on our country. Back home, there are a lot of young people who have been into a left path that have been caused by peer pressure. Now, when we talk about peer pressure, is the issue like even peer pressure, let me just take it hard. Peer pressure can even happen to our parents. Miles, you and I will be living in the same house or maybe in the same community. You are coming home every time buying things for your parents, but I'm not doing the same thing with my parents. If my parents have that kind of you know, responsibility pressure wherein they are looking at other people who have their bigger brother or maybe their first child bringing things home, and I would be in the first child, my family not doing the same thing, forgetting to know that things doesn't happen at the same time. I'm actually trying in my little weak way, but they are seeing that particular guy providing usually they will not start to put pressure on me. Most parents are doing it home, and these are some of the things that bring about conflict in family. Now, the child will feel pressure. Once the child decides to express themselves, the parent feel offended, and then the child will end up leaving the house or maybe doing something out of the way in order to be able to set themselves free, or maybe going by what their parents saying and forgetting about what they decide to focus on. Let's just bring this. There are a lot of us here who have come to India who are studying because of our parents say we should come here to study a particular course, not because of what we want. Now, if a child just have a difficulties in reaching a particular, let's say, expectation of that parents. Let's say, for example, I Jackson decided to study computer science, but my parents decided, so, okay, we want you to do law. I come here and start doing law. Say that, I mean, Miles, to be honest, I don't have passion for law. If I didn't reach that particular expectation of my parents, there would be serious conflict in my family. You went in India, we spend money on you, you squander everything. These are things they will be saying to me. They are not going to set me down to tell me, like, ask me, what do you want to do? They are not going to observe what I really like most. They misunderstand me. Now, another thing again, when we are looking at, let's say, family members, and the word conflict. These things is actually something that affect a lot of people, that affect a lot of people to the extent that you don't really have a solution to these things. At the end of the day, the family will go apart. Wherein you find certain group of people are not talking to other people, certain group of people are not really playing their role that they're supposed to be playing in a family. So what I can say is the fact that our people, our friends, we need to have this open conversation in order to stop this conflict. Now, if you don't have open conversation, like the example that I show from my let's say initial state before I could even say what I'm saying now, I told you that if I call you Miles and then you didn't pick my call, as soon as I see you in public, let's be the Miles, you are so selfish. Why I call you didn't pick my call? Or even I didn't ask you the question, I just start, you know, ignoring you whenever you call me. I'm not paying attention. I'm not even giving you that friendship vibe again. You'll be asking yourself, but what's happening? But because I misunderstood, I mean you were sleeping or maybe busy, that's why you didn't pick my call. But people don't even ask this kind of question. Like I was listening to my friend, I think one of your talk shows, she said that if you call her one time, you didn't get her minutes that she's busy or maybe she's not around. For you just wait, she see your call, she's gonna respond, and that's how she did. But you don't just keep, misunderstanding people, always thinking about how you feel on it, forgetting about how other people think about the situation. These are things that bring about conflict. So, looking at your question, I believe that one of the things we should better take seriously is the issue of having a open conversation. And one of the things that causes conflict is miscommunication.
Thank you so much. Philip, I'll come to you right there. A lot of us feel like this issue of communication, you have to go to school to learn first before you be able to, understand when it comes to communication. No, you doesn't have to go to school for that. You as an individual, you have to think, very, you have to think very wisely. You understand that whenever people say things, you don't just take it to be otherwise. You find out that even today, people who are school, right, or who went to school today, Philip Jackson, they are still, finding it difficult when it comes to this communication issue. The way they interpret people, when people say things in the forms and manner, they take it, they just assume, right? You have to say them very carefully because the best person that can explain themselves is this person who told you this particular thing, Philip. If I say this, you doesn't understand me, you try to ask me, let me try to make it very clear. I'm the one who can explain myself better than any other person. But sometimes if you just assume, to what I said and you take a different way, in which of course I wasn't even speaking from that perspective, it becomes conflict. That's where we come to a problem. And like you said, Jackson and then Philip, these are things that have surrounded family today. You see that families are going against family one another, even to workplaces, it extended there, even at school, it extended there today. And it has become a serious problem, Philip. So before we go, Philip, let me give you the next 1 minute of what do you have to say regarding this particular, question?
I all I see is people emotion, and reaction. That's all I see, right? Jackson rightly put about communication, and that's the key. That's the culprit. That's the culprit in conflict, right? So he established the fact that miscommunication, and I'm not going to talk back on the miscommunication, but I'm going to talk on the point where when people kind of miscommunicate or people tend to misinterpret, misunderstand what has been said, then they tend to react, and also with their emotions. They don't just react, but majority of them react based off their emotions, and that's bad. Whatever has been said, and you just cannot process well, you cannot think through it well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should go into a heated argument or debate with the other person. No, you don't do that. For example, somebody came to you, Myers, and said that, oh, you are here, and then Philip is saying this and that about you. Come on. That's a third party. Did I say so? Was I the one who said so? Maybe we all were in a conversation and then your name popped up, right? Your name popped up. And the person now did not understand exactly what I meant or what the other person was saying about you. They already came to you and said to you, Jackson said this, Philip said this. You you have to react. You have to react based off what has been told unto you. Now, you reacting is not bad, it's a good thing. But how are you reacting? Are you reacting based off your emotions, anger, frustration? No, you don't. That's what people usually do. They are very emotional to things. When people say, that others said something about them, forget about people saying this, that, that. How about you having a physical contact with the person? Must you react in a very bad manner? No, you don't. What happens is that you have to take a break. Like we said in previous, episodes, right? You have to take a break. Emotional intelligence comes in. You have to take a break. You pause. You think through it. Did Philip actually say this? Did Jackson actually did this? If you weren't there and that thing happened, you have to give that thought. You have to think about that. Maybe the person who is conveying the information to you or what has happened, the person is kind of sharing that with you. Maybe the person did not clearly understand what Jackson talked about miscommunication, misunderstanding. And then they came and narrate to you. It could be false, it could be true. But how well do you react? You have to pause. Let us, get rid of our impulsiveness, right? Let's get rid of that. You have to trash that. I listened to someone the other time, they said, Philip, I'm very impulsive. You you don't. You can't. You can't, Miles. You don't give attention to your impulsiveness or to your impulse. You don't do that. So whatever things happen between you, me, and the other person, first off, we do is that we take a break, we kind of think through it as to whether or not you should react negatively or that warrants your positive reaction. It's very important. So I will end here and let's, hear other questions coming out.
Thank you, Philip. You know, this things that we are discussing tonight, mostly it happens among our female. Sorry, like I said previously, sorry to our female, but we have to say because these are people that this conflicting has been escalating on, right? I have one of my PCs, she usually say when anybody come to me with this other person say they tell party thing, you leave right there. I call that person and I put the phone on loudspeaker and say, this is why problem. And you say that while the person tell you about me, right there, I
Right.
make sure and then we call it quote unquote. So she said like because of this now you found out that a lot of people, even when someone who have already did this to right, whenever they come with another person who want to say things about somebody, who have said things against me now, as soon as they want to talk, somebody gonna pinch and say, "Hey, that person will call. It will make it so straight." It's not that she's trying to make that she's so perfect, but what she's trying to get rid of is, this kind of things of, creating, this kind of thing from one place to another place, right? You cannot be that kind of individual. Like every time when people bring things to you, she's trying to like, we have to stop it. That's our own remedy where we have to stop it. Like whenever it comes, this is our own remedy that you see. Like no, it should not be that way, right? Because she don't want to create that kind of feeling for the person. She don't want to kind of create that kind of heart for the person. There are a lot of us today. Whenever people say things to us, right away we create negative thing about that person particularly. Most especially when that person is so dear to us. You understand what happened? And another person coming and saying that I said this person, and you are so emotional about it. Are you saying that you saying Philip that Philip said this about me? You say I say Philip, and I said different person. In fact, they try to describe you and other things, right? And you being a person that is so dear to that other person, what happened at the end of the day? Now they try to create negative perception or negative thinking about you. If, like you said, Philip, if they cannot hold themselves to think twice, what happened at the end of the day? They try to make things to escalate, right? Usually, I don't. For me, that's the reality. I tell people I don't give ear to those things. They say, you just have to move on because I can tell us the reality about it. The reason why these things escalate, some of these reasons that we'll come to it tonight, is because we give credence to these things too much. Yeah, we get things to this other person, this other person, the other person, the other person. Sometimes you have to move on. That's life. Because even the Jesus we say we serve him today, right? He was talking about. So sometimes you feel like, yeah, people have to say things about you. That's their own opinion, right? I feel like that's a person's own opinion. That's how they feel, right? That's how at that moment of time, that's what they have to say about me. So they have to say it to their own weight and pleasure. But sometimes we say, yeah, our character matters, our integrity, yes. People who knows you whenever even another person is going to explain negative thing about them, they know who you are. Once they
And
don't see you, yeah.
one thing I would like to quickly say before you go forward, I have seen people who kind of consider others, like they kind of consider your feelings, right? Like, okay, first off, did they share something with you? They told you Maya's XYZ person said this thing about you, blah, blah, blah. And then, first off, they saw how you reacted. You got angry on the scene and you reacted. Now that person, the second time, whether or not what they are coming to say is true, they become very manipulative. They become very manipulative because they want to, get you into a problem. They want to put you into a situation that you just can't handle because you do not consider the consequences whenever you react without thinking through. So that's why it's important. I'm ending on this in a few seconds. That's why it's important that we have to take a break. That's one of the skills we have to practice in conflict resolution. It's very important that we practice this particular skill, right? You kind of take a break, whatever's been said to you, process it, and then you kind of render your own judgment. Otherwise, you will have manipulative people coming to you, getting into problem without you even considering aforetime the consequences. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. While you are talking, and it brought this guy to me, but I don't want to call his name, who is presently in jail. Who said you? You see the kind of things, eh? Who said you was advocating? Philip, that's your man. You was advocating for people. The forms and manner in which you want to carry on the advocacy, it led into serious problem today. And these are problems we have. These are things we have to look at. I beg you, Philip. I'm just saying these are things we have to look at, right? Because you cannot come like these are reality, right? Yes, people felt disenchanted about the situation I was on ground. They have the referral channels in which you can take it there, but you cannot come and be, saying a lot of things about people. You understand it, right? In his own mind, he was saying the rightful thing, and in few people's mind, yeah, he was doing the rightful thing. But you see how the other person interpreted it? They said, no, this thing you are saying was not right. You see what happened? And okay, say you say you are saying the right thing, that is saying the right thing now. Okay, so you have to kind of explain yourself. What happened to his explanation? What explanation led him today? It led him to the place he is. So you see,
Okay.
whenever you say things, people calculate or see a different way, right? So you have to be very careful on how you communicate. So let me go back to our guest on this question. Sir, yes, it. How do you see anger and misunderstanding in escalating conflict today in our time?
That's great.
The reason I'm laughing is the fact that I was just about to talk about this issue of anger, uh, with the example that you showed making mention on our God.
Don't call
It
that
was
God
actually
here.
no, no,
We
no.
don't want to be
I'm not
part of
calling him God.
it. We
I'm
don't
not
want to be
calling him
part of
God.
when a return. When they're gonna say
I'm not
there are
talking.
certain people are calling your names.
So
Fella, fella,
strict,
you a
strictly
fella.
strictly to the issue of people just receiving information and then acting on it right away. It is something that we have to work on. That part sometimes it can be difficult though because even myself, I've had a lot of instances like that. Some information will reach you, yeah, I can actually aggravate you, but even as that, you have to be calm and to see how best to make the rightful decision. So according to that issue of anger and misunderstanding, one thing I would say is the fact that anger leads to harsh words and action that hurt others. Like the way in which you approach people, the way you talk to people, some of these words you use, even if the issue is just a little issue wherein that wasn't meant to be escalated to that extent, the way in which you say things, the words you use, your choice of words makes for people to feel that what you are trying to say or what you are doing is actually bad, and then things become worse. Let me just show a little example in the student community. Since I actually becomes this deputy speaker, if I see something going wrong, I don't just go about hello, yes, you are speaking to Jackson, deputy speaker, yeah, yes, I know. I just be like, hello, how are you? Greet you like normal student, like, brother, this thing you posted is not actually correct. I will kind of, appreciate if you just take it down. I think it will be good. But there are other people who doesn't resolve issue that way. They just go about talking to people using every choice of word because they feel that one, they are under the depression. Two, they are in certain position and they feel that the person cannot do anything to them. Three, they are in certain class. These are things that pump up people to say these kind of things. They usually say to people. Now, if you say this kind of thing to somebody, the person becomes angry. Another thing is one of my mentor actually gave me a practical example that if you continue pushing somebody against a wall, and then once the person reach to that part of the wall that they cannot go backward anymore, they become so retaliated, they become so further. If you using a particular wrong choice or word to a particular individual, and then you find out you want to resolve issue with that choice of word, the person will actually retaliate too, and then things become worse. So like uh, anger and misunderstanding creates a very huge conflict in a way that resolving this kind of conflict it have to take you maybe years, or even to the extent that people even saying that I will never forgive you. Sometimes a certain word you can say to people, they can say that particular thing you say to me, I will not forget about it. It can usually happen. Mine's coming down to females, like the example you show it's not something that I would sit on the shoulder and tell you that I haven't been observing it. These things it actually existing and it can happen. Females actually deal with this issue of conflict. Imagine a guy will live in a room with his friend for over 5 years. They will be cool, but not females, bro. Not females. No way. Not females. The guy will even like my sweetheart will even need to do will have heated argument. Like people even can be talking, man, you're forgetting about that thing, we'll talk at another day. Few minutes later, we make up, we even find food. Now some food around we eat again. But not females, bro. I think you gotta sit down, you take care. All of your discussing, somebody explain. You see it? So like it's not something that we can just say that we can eradicate. But with an appropriate approach, we can be able to see our best to be able to handle this issue whenever they arises. So like one of the things that actually affect people when it comes to misunderstanding and anger issue as it relates to conflict is about using harsh words and wrong choice of words when they are actually approaching this kind of conflict. If someone comes to you and say, Miles Jackson says so and so thing, you just have, using any choice of words, anything that comes to your mind, you're not thinking about it, you're not trying to understand the situation. These things can be able to resolve the war. Huge conflict that cannot be resolved in a daytime.
Thank you so much, Jackson. There are a lot of people today we find in jail, and if you ask the reason why they have found themselves to that particular place, some of the reason in yourself, that is something that is not genuine, right? Because it was something like should just be handled in a treatment of an art, but rather they allow it to escalate. You see, one of the things I tell people, whenever things comes your way, you see, you have to take time on how you engage it. Because even we saw easier than this few times in our country there, where a guy and his friend were just having a little argument. And what happened at the end of the day? He tried to knock on that guy. What happened? The guy died in his hand. Where is he today? He had to go to jail. If somebody says something to you and you don't understand them, the only thing is sometimes I tell people when you are not able to engage a person, you find people around as well that can help you in that process, to
And
be able to
Miles,
solve it. Yeah, yeah.
Miles, sorry for that, but you see, one of my senior brother tell me that uh excuse me for the choice, but he said that it is always the sensible people that go to jail and the stupid ones that are always out. Because for example, if you get to the prison and then you ask, why are you here? I want us stupid guy. But the stupid man is outside, chasing his
Right.
career,
Yeah.
worrying about his life. But you are just since you are beyond bars. You are not eating good meal. Now, you see this thing, it always everything centered around misunderstanding. Once you misunderstand something, you are not going to go about it the right way. You are going to be like, let me just say this on the show, right? I have getting a lot of experience since I entered the students leadership of our, organization here. There are sometimes things happen. Philip and Miles, let me be honest with you. There are some people who you feel that they're supposed to know more, but they do some things. It makes you to feel you the little one make you to feel like, what? I didn't expect this kind of thing from this guy.
Right.
Like as soon as you say something to them, they just go about. Taking my time, I call a brother. I actually told him, I call a brother. Brother, the way in which you are going about with this thing is not correct. Can you please take this post down? Let's do it to set, not everything, so you're part of a group chat, you can just go and post in the chat room. Some of these things can be handled behind close to before posting in public. Now, I told him to take it down. He was like, who are you? What are you trying to tell me? I said, I'm Jackson. And almost everybody know me. I'm just appealing to you as a student. I know that you also a student too. So the just hear from you, I'll be like, which school are you attending, my brother? He decided to defend himself, how he was pursued, how he was doing other one. Nobody can do nothing to him. All these kind of things, I said, my brother, all these things, they are not very serious. I just take the post down and let's be able to handle it. And when we handle the issue at the end of the day, he said, my brother, which state you are in? I said, I'm in Odisha. I'm the student representative from Odisha and I happen to be the deputy speaker. He said, oh, chief, why you gonna say, I said, my brother, it's not necessary. The issue here is let's resolve the conflict before we get to this other thing. All these things you are talking about, it doesn't matter. You don't understand what we're trying to resolve. That's why you was going all about with the business, doing all kind of wrong things. And you actually belittle him. Imagine you actually belittle him. Someone tell me like it is not how big the person is. Sometimes these people you see them, they are very big, they are credential and things speak volume, but they don't know how to go about with these little things. And it matters. All the studying we study, we're going to the workplaces. We're going to organization, we're going to government institution. How are we going to navigate through when we don't know how to handle these things? So if a colleague
Right.
comes to you and says, okay, I hear the boss man talking something, but will you go there and start insulting your boss man? No.
Uh,
No matter how difficult it is, once you do something in an organization, your bosses will always come to you to address you. A good leader always see how best to address these people who he's leading because you cannot be leading people with rush or maybe conflict. It's not good. That's just what I want to add up.
Yeah, you see the thing of of misunderstanding, Philip. You remember last year we were like anybody come. Yes, Miles is the one who that has spared the Miles TV. Once you come, we give you the platform. But life is about it's about stages. Whenever I reach a certain stage, you have to put things in order, Philip. And we reached to a point where we had to structure ourselves, how to structure our leadership and other things. Imagine we had one of our brother who came from Liberia this one time, right, to perform one of our artists. And these
uh,
people reached out to me. I was like, okay, that's a very good thing. We're gonna give our own support, what have you. But yes, it to pass through the referral channel, let me give you this individual number and speak to him, and he's gonna help you. Even though I'm the one you hear my name, yeah, but it doesn't work that way.
uh,
Feel feel like you were telling me that those guys never call you. But rather, you know what happens? When it
oh,
came to my place there, imagine there's a little wood right near me. The artist came there the other time to have me and other things they were lecturing. The guy was part of there, and then he know me very well. You know what he started to do? What he was sitting like everybody started to point finger to me, started to say some things. Eh, We tell him to promote it. We tell him to do that. Tell him to do that. Like I was like, what is God trying to prove? What is he trying to prove? Like, am I his son, or it was he that brought me to India, or the kind of idea we tried to craft? Was he the one who tried to do it? Imagine what happened before. They brought another person here before. We made publicity for that person. Did we ever receive any communication of saying, "Oh, you guys, thank you for that. This was successful"? No. Okay, now we're not saying you must do anything. We say just pass through the referral channel. You miscalculated everything I said or misunderstood everything I said. But rather to public ridicule me, started to say a whole lot of things. He was sitting in a gallery that almost had almost 10 persons, different guys from Punjab. So at the point when I want to buy something on the road coming back to enter my room, the guy tried to point finger at me. He was like, why? I'm like, Philip, I just tell you this today. I'm saying like we must try to understand things that is not a referral procedure that we can try to proceed with. Whenever things come out, you try to go the referral way to settle it. Now you know what kind of mindset he make that guy to carry. Like the day that guy see me is that, oh, I went to India and this guy was taught to promote my platform. He did not do it and all that things. You see the kind of thing. But I think he's a sound person, he was like, oh, I had to ask the guy how it's going. And at the end of the day, I talked to somebody who very close to the guy that they brought here, and the person tried to narrate the whole story to me that these guys they fail because they don't want to work with everybody. They want to act very greedy. They won't want to eat everything and whatever you want to satisfy themselves. You see this thing, you get a kind of stigma on you. But yes, I want to help you and say part through the Revo channel. Only because of this, understanding me, you take it to be different how. And these are things we have to work on today because it's something that if we don't work on today, we will continue to face the problem and we'll try to look at people very ugly. We'll continue to look at people very ugly, right? We'll continue to see people to be like they are bad people, they don't like all the this, the that. We're continue to misunderstood people, and which of course we said no today. We must find a remedy to these things. We must stop it. And most especially, like I said previously, people you see doing these things are educated people, are people who say they are sitting in classroom, right? So why you expect those one who are not sitting in classroom to do as well, right? You come into school, you sit in the classroom. The lecturer will also leave his syllabus, even try to talk to you on some things that you as a person you need to face and other things try to lecture you on. Yes, still you get all these things in you, but still when people say things to you, you still misunderstand them. You try to take a different way. At the end of the day, you see our entire community, student communities, is just haul and pull, haul and pull, haul and pull. Every time problems, 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 because the misunderstanding is continuing there. And we say today we must come to an end of these things. If we don't do it, it will live with us, and even those people that come after us will continue in it and will not see any change. And we say to ourselves that we want to be the future leaders. We are the future leaders. Is that how we're going to run today? It should not be that way. We must find a common ground to say, no, let's start escalating things. Let's find a common ground for it. So, thank you so much, Philip. Let me ask our guest this question.
Wait, but
You want
before
to
you
say,
ask the question, right, let me ask you something. Maya, have they called you problematic before? Myers and Philip, have they called you guys problematic before?
oh, a lot of time, some people come and say we are problematic.
Bro, that's the meme I'm bearing, bro. Everywhere I go, oh, Jackson, you're problematic, you're problematic. Because, like for me, I believe in a particular policy and principle. If we cannot follow these things, you and I, we are going to be parallel throughout. We're never going to meet. We're never going to meet. Seriously. You see, the issue about following rap, which channel is one of the things I like to do. Why not we
You
just
have to
just
be
ask the
man.
question?
Yeah, Jackson, you have to be man. What make you a man is your word. You understand it? What you stand for, right? I could say, yeah, I could use my own power and say, oh, I'm the dead. Let me try to do this thing. But I feel like it is not a rightful procedure, right? I won't be doing right, right? It'll be like I'm undermining the entire process. I'm trying to show that kind of power or what have you. And which of course is not good. Okay, my brother, just do this thing. One of the things you need to do, communicate with this person, and the person will help you out, and then they will reach you out. I remember Jackson. There's a guy from your state who also reached out to me. He was like, "Oh, Miles, we want to showcase. I don't know. You guys have a new leadership. I don't know in which one of the university there." So he was like, "We want to showcase these people." So I was like, "Okay, that's a very good thing." So you know what I'm gonna do for you? I'll forward this individual number to you. Call them and explain this to them. Gradually, they will bring it to us, and we'll find a remedy for it. And the guy was like, "Okay, I'm definitely going to do that. Just share the number." You see how we understood one another? But the guy did not take that communication that way. You understand it? Misunderstanding people has become serious problem today, escalates conflict. And I hope we gotta find common ground for that. But let's ask this question to our guest, Philip. Philip, are you I can say all the things to I can say go to Philip. Okay, let's ask our guest this question. So how do you see the role of communication, listening, and empathy in conflict resolution? How do you see it in your own mind as a young men coming up today in our society.
Okay. Should I say this is my topic or what? But anyway, let me just go about with it. But anyway, this question that are coming up it just suit me. Uh, Let me just be clear on this one. Based on the question, how do I see the role of communication, listening, and empathy in conflict resolution? To be honest, good communication helps express feelings clearly. Good communication helps express feeling clearly. I'm not a scientist to read your minds. Even scientists that are not, they can just read your mind. And even these people who are studying human psychology, they can just read your mind. Just, as soon as you want to do. Let me just bring it home in colloquial so people can understand what I say because it is very important. That's something you must do. That's something you must say before let's say they determine what's the next move.
I think we lost the guest.
Yeah, yeah, we lost our guest. I don't know. Uh, so we want to say to all of our people who are following, we want to say thank you for following tonight. It is not easy. Sometimes we face these difficulties, but we have to work on it. Yeah, Philip. So why do you make of this question, Philip? Talking about the role of communication, listening and empathy in conflict resolution. How do you look at it? Jackson, are you there?
Is he back?
Okay. No, just go ahead. I think you have to leave and then come back.
Yeah. So if you can hear us, Jaxie, you just go off and come back on. There must be a connectivity issue at your end. Yes, Miles. For the communication part, right? Communication is key to conflict resolution. Even before, hello.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
So even before you can enter into a conflict with your friend or your brother, sister, mom, dad, whoever it is, one thing that you should consider is communication. And what are you communicating about? What is that information being shared? What is that situation being talked about? Okay, our guest is here. I don't know if I can continue or
Okay.
he.
Yeah, yeah. Just wait. Are you there? Are you there, Jackson?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's
Fluctuation on
okay. It's
internet.
okay.
So
It's okay.
okay, so as I was saying, you need to communicate clearly. I don't know, but I want to show some example. I want to show some example as it relates to relationship and our day-to-day activities. See, when it
Yeah.
comes to relationship, now in our in our generation, people expect you to be doing guesting in relationship. If they want you to do something, they won't come and tell you right away, but they will do something that means another thing. So if you are the kind of person who doesn't guess rightfully, you
Explain
guess
that to
wrongly.
us. Oh. Explain that to us. We have to know that.
For
I, I, I
example,
I think Jackson want to teach us some tactics today so we can try
Yeah,
to understand. You
no,
know.
for example, right? If a girl doesn't want you to go out, and then you and your guys have an outing, and then you just go like, "Oh, baby, I'm going out." She'll be like, "Go on, have fun." And then once you decide dressing up to go out, so are you really going to go out? You just tell me to go out. You're going to be asking, "Are you really going to go out?" Yes. So you're going to leave my one here? Yes. It's no. If the as the guy responding to this kind of question, you ask him because the guy, he's not really sensing that she doesn't want him to go out, gonna be a big issue because she's not communicating clearly that, oh, I don't want you to go out, that I want to spend time together. The guy can even cut that thing off. That's his guys. He can meet there another time, but she's not gonna say it. Sometimes we ourselves, we as guys, if we want something for a female, we are not gonna clearly say it, state it out. We're just gonna say another thing, and then once you fall into that trap, boom, we know we do what we're supposed to do, and that's very, very much bad, isn't it? So another thing again, as it relates to our day-to-day activities, like Miles, you and I will be having a conversation. I'll be like, man, Miles, yeah, Tina ready easy, man, Miles. I'm not coming. I already proposed in my man. Come and tell Miles, say, Miles, I want you to let me 500. But I'll be there. My husband already easy, man. You know, yeah, my life is already kind. Yeah, bro. See, I when I say I ain't even easy about yeah, man. Imagine. All that you know, I see all that things with me. Yeah, be able to say that. Oh, I mean, I was saying you 500 or I was saying you 400. But because you don't say, hey, oh, as soon as I hang out the call, I say, but my, I mean, man, all that thing has been my, one tell me, you even say, you see, these
Understand
are
the
things
code,
that,
right? He
yeah,
didn't understand
you
the
don't
code.
understand the code. But me,
An
let me just be
indirect
honest,
code.
eh? Let me just be honest, deliberately sometimes I can want for people to communicate clearly. So I can just pretend I understand. As soon if you beat that right, beat that right, beat that right, because I can do the same thing too now. I don't understand what you say until you can come out and see the real thing. Then I'll tell you, say, my man, I understand what you want to say, but I wanted you to be clear. So you see, if people are not being clear with their communication, it is bad. Let's say, for example, you are writing an exam. Teacher asks you what is science. You say science is a scientific word that deal with human studies. You're not beating the point, or you beating them right, beat them right. Yes, but I'm not give you point. The man not give you any point. If I say no,
That's
how
in
you
there.
go teacher will just say
That's in that thing. You have to.
no, no, I'm not discussing in that thing, man. But let's just look at back home, right? Back home, you can just beat around all the you just have to state the fact. But the professor and everybody want you to just explain you when I say you might explain the entire love story, I mean say your life story on one question. Once you read enough, they will give you something. But back home, you can't try that thing, man. One old paper that I know that teaching you science will not even take that thing from you. Yeah. Seriously, you want to take it from you. So to be honest, yeah, these things have to do with communicating clearly. You have to be precise on what you want to say. Sometimes people find you to be old school when you are doing these things. Sometimes people find you to be problematic when you are doing these things. But honestly, listening and empathy helps understand others and build trust for peaceful solution. Once you are a good listener, you can communicate clearly, it build that kind of trust. People actually have that kind of respect for you. People actually values you. You can just be the kind of person as soon as someone open their mouth, the first one, two, three, boom, you already start judging, you already find a conclusion to it. You have to listen. Communication is about listening. You have to listen. You can just be talking, talking, talking. No. So what I really see as it relates to the role of communication, what are the important things people need to do, and how it resolve conflict is the issue of communicating clearly and actually listening. You have to communicate clearly, then you listen. Because once you listen, you know how to go about what the person is saying. And once you communicate clearly, the person actually knows what you are saying and they know how to approach you in return. So that's it.
Thank you so much for that, my dear brother. So let's take our musical break. Once we get back, we're going to take just two questions, and then we try to call it a day tonight. So let's take our musical break, and then once we get back, we're going to take those two questions, and then quickly we try to call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, my TV. Yeah. Oh, my TV.
want to say
Miles,
welcome tonight.
Miles, before you say anything, let me say I like that song and I like the video behind that song. Let me tell you something. Miles and my brother, after the show, sorry I have to say it on this live, but we have to talk, my brother. Seriously, after the show, you and Philip, like, I want to be part of this family. Let me just say open, let me just communicate very clearly. I want to be part of this family.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You see, let's congratulate our brother in the comment section. We are open to work with people. We can work together. We all want to push one goal. We want to see Liberia in the next 3 to 4 years to that next steps. We want to shift the mindset, and these are the bases that we can change. If every one of us can work on these things today, what happened in the next 3 to 4 years? One tell one, right? We try to go out there telling people going on the field. Like we said, this year's our year for online. Next year we are thinking of having some offline things, meeting people. Because what happened to some of our people who in the villages there that are unable to hear these messages, right? That we are preaching. Some of our little brothers and sisters coming up there. We say we have to move there as a team and have to work it out. So I want to say you are welcome. We'll definitely have that discussion and we'd like to have you on board. Thank you so much, and we
In
really applaud you. Yeah,
just in
Philip.
for those two questions, I would just like to, make some clarity when it comes to the Maya's television. Jackson, this is it, right? This is the platform, like Maya said. We are very simple, and in terms of man making, we've come to share the little knowledge or ideas we all have. We're just gonna pass on. The internet now is expanding in Liberia. We have about 50% to 60% of internet users in Liberia. So we want to use the media since we cannot connect physically with everyone. We just want to use the media to pass on, good messages that will actually shift the mindset of our young people, our fellow young people, and even the elderly ones, right? Those negative mindsets, those ever since thing people been thinking about those perceptions. We just want to change every old school thing into a new school positively, right? While other people are there doing their own thing on the internet, but we have come on the internet for man making, for nation building. Nation building is at its core when it comes to the Myers television platform. We don't do these things, for ourselves. Instead, we do it for the very common person all the way there, in West Point, who can come on the internet and just see our page and just follow the conversation. And that's one part of it. And the next part of it, Maya said, in the coming future, we would all like to meet, physically so that we can get involved, we get engaged into, building people, into transforming them, into showing the way, to their lives. Many people, they don't know their way out. Many of them. I'm one person, I told my husband all the time, I'm one person who can engage with people on this internet. I do engage with people on this internet, right? Like you do bad things, I kind of see that. Once I have the opportunity, I'll reach out to you in your inbox and kind of communicate with you and begin to, kind of have a friendly conversation and get to know your reason why you do this and do that. And this might interest you, bro. Many of them will be like, I don't know why I found myself in this thing. I don't know why I'm doing this thing. So I see it as an opportunity that I'm on this internet. Whatever thing I see that's not good that I know I can do, or my sister, my brother, my mom, and dad cannot do, I see others do. I see that as an opportunity to reach out to them. Then Myers will tell you that I'm a mentor because people reach out to him and tell him that I'm a mentor, right? Yes. So that's why the Myers television is here to engage with people, our young brothers and sisters, to show them the right way rather than the wrong way because we have too many people on the internet doing too many bad things. So we have come for the common good to build us up and to give us all a positive mindset and a brighter future. So we would like to work with you. You're a young man and a very potential man. So having you on board would be a boost for the platform. So once again, it's great to connect. Yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Philip. Before we go to the question, we have few females on board that work with us, and we knew that bringing them on board was was something that it was a very good choice we made. A lot of people reached out to us, so was like, can we take them? But then we said no, let us not take them, but let's go for these people. We went for these people. You see what happened now? So there is one of Queen, right? Miss Queen. I mean, she's not here tonight. You see, she been a very potential guy. We remember Queen connected us to another guy in Liberia that was also excited to work with us, a very potential young man who is gathering a lot of youth in Liberia, and he just cannot wait to see us connecting together, that we all can help in shifting, the minds of our brothers and sisters today. Together we can do it, my brother, and we are so excited that we can work together. So to all of our followers, we say welcome tonight, and we want to welcome our brother as well. We'll definitely have a conversation, and officially you might see him here one day as one of the hosts or panelists on the show. Don't be surprised. Thank you for giving your thank you for expressing yourself right on the show. Remember, Lee, right? Brother Lee, we also been talking to Lee, another great man. So we are all open to work together because Philip and myself cannot just make it alone. Alfred, no, we need other people ideas. The more we come to Google ideas, the more we flourish and reach to where we want to see ourselves. But let's go to our discussion tonight before we call it a night. So, to our guests, before we take your parting statement, this is a question that I have for you tonight. Uh, this question says, uh, sorry, just a minute. All right, so we want to say to our panelists, our guests, sorry, what are those practical steps do you see in solving, conflicts in our society today peacefully? What are those practical steps? You are muted. You are muted.
Oh, sorry. So, I don't know if I'm going to say something that's going to help people, but I believe that everything I'm going to be saying here tonight are actually going to be helping someone out there. And I may not put it just the way in which they want it, but I also believe that it's going to help. So, what I think we should do in resolving conflict, one is to see how best to communicate clearly. I'm not going to forget about that. We have to communicate clearly. Another thing is we shouldn't be quick in trashing people or maybe reacting as it relates to putting in our emotion once we hear thing or once something occur. These are things that can make conflicts to be very much big to the extent that resolving them involve a lot of things. One thing we should know that everything we say or do actually have a negative or positive effect. Now, if I we have a conflict with a brother, I actually put myself at risk in the sense that we are all here preparing ourselves. We don't know where life will take us tomorrow. And then having a meet this brother, having a conflict with him during our school days will actually spark a negative atmosphere in order for that brother to not give me a job, for that brother to not have a good working relationship with me whenever we appear on a project into the organization, or the institution. Now, if the both of us have that kind of negative friction between us, what will happen to the organization that is innocent of what happened in the past will not be going to come up. At the end of the day, you find that the person who entity we are working in will start to go down. For me, I'm actually into computer application, wherein I'm not actually specializing in one thing. I work with people who are doing business. I work with people who are in hospital. I also will have the opportunity to work with people who are in different sector of life. So like I have to be very much careful. I'm using myself as an example into this situation because everything we are doing here will actually speak for you tomorrow. Now,
Right.
if you live a negative life in India here and your association with people becomes negative, they are not going to open up to you freely. That's why we have people in this society that heal negative, action, and there are people who also heal the positive one. But I would advise anyone listening to me to go for the positive one. It is difficult. We know. We have a saying that says that the road to success is very much rocky. But no matter how Meridian Road can be rocky, the car will still reach to the destination. We will still get there.
right,
So don't mind because
You said the
no,
longer.
no matter how Millionaire Bro will be rocking, that car will still reach Millionaire, and people will get in that same car to come out more. So we shouldn't be let's say pressured by what people will say, what kind of name they will call us. For me, I rather accept the fact I'm problematic. So that we should communicate clearly, we should control our emotion, we should see our best to always find a means to hear from people whenever something happens. Sometimes the channel by which the information can be like transferred can actually be a barriers between we and that particular person or maybe that entity. For example, Maya said I would be sitting and I would say something like, oh, the last time in the art I was Philip and Philip wasn't really too fine. Miles will take that information, carry it to Philip. The way in which that information will be transferred might either make Philip to get angry with me or either say that I'm gossiping about him or maybe think that I'm saying it in a rightful direction in order to look out for a brother. Maybe something wrong with him and I'm trying to find out. Now, the person who is transferring that information or the move by which that information is transferred, we should be able to look at it. So that's the reason why you should be able to ask people when something happens. Why do you do this? Who told you that I said this about you?
right.
These are questions we should be asking. But you see, I got a give one time I was living single. I had an auntie who usually says that once she and someone in palaver, means that I should be in palaver to what I know. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I feel so bad. No, bro, let me just share this thing with you. These things happen to us so that we can be able to have these experiences that when we are, interacting with people, we can be able to use these experiences we have to navigate through. I went to my into to spend time. Imagine, that Friday, Saturday weekend break.
Right.
The tenant I was in the hall, she had children, I communicated with them, we were all friendly, and I told them that Christmas Day, I will come and we'll all eat together. My brother, when I came back Christmas Day, my auntie no more feeling baking flour. The
Woo.
woman feeling cooking, she gave me food and how I go and eat. My auntie let me say, don't eat our food. I say, auntie, today when you're being I ate the food. Because it doesn't concern me, bro. It doesn't concern me. I respect
Right,
the fact that you're my auntie. But whatsoever thing the both of you had, I'm not in the know. I don't know anything about it. I'm not in the know. So I just ate my food. And that thing is one of the funny experience ever. The woman children was like, so Jackson, are you gonna eat it? I said, I'm gonna eat. In fact, we are still gonna be living in a hotel that nothing happened between your mind and my auntie. We are friends. And as far as I'm concerned, whatsoever thing that happened between them, they will handle it.
right,
Yeah, that's how I just go about my life. Once something doesn't concern me, I don't get nothing to do with it. And if I
right,
want to handle this issue, I will call the both of you guys, ask the both of you question, and then we'll see about the settle it. Nothing else be on my chest. I don't care how big or tall you are. I will meet you one day, figure it out. They say, figure the thing you do to me, and let it. Don't
right,
try to me. I might be telling Miles that maybe if I'm angry, I might tell Miles because I'm angry. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna let you know. Because I want to communicate clearly so that this conflict can be resolved and then we can go to move together, work together, have a calm collaboration. Because once there is peace, there is growth.
right, right,
You see today, a lot of things is actually affecting India. Cooking gas price is getting high. Even in my wholesale electricity is not really stable as it used to be. Because simple thing, simple thing that people can just sit by and dialogue about. What if our president going to be like, okay, say Gini sending us to the border? If you guys have to, you go to the border. I'll let them worry about our family back. How going to be receiving our allowance? But thank God for that woman. Let me just stop right, my brother.
that's nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackson. You just said a similar thing like Jackson. We had a situation here. There's a guy who did his master that I felt he was very sound. A similar situation like that, Jackson. I felt he was so intelligent, but because of love, that guy was brave to tell me similar thing like that. Imagine two ladies get into problem or into like we talk about conflicts, right? And these two ladies have been friendly with them for a very long time. But one of them requested that I should take their side. And I said to them automatically, I cannot do it. In fact, before you even came here, I've been friendly with this lady you've been talking about. And this lady haven't done anything to me. But imagine this lady, uh, this guy I'm talking about was also in love.
Oh wow.
Taking
Oh
him
wow.
to be a very sound senior brother to make that kind of decision and say, yeah, what this man is talking. Imagine, I have some colleagues that we were together. They even said, yes, I should take a side. In every conflict, you get a side. I'm like, are you serious? Thing that I don't know anything about? Why should I take a side? In fact, I went by calling other senior leaders in the community and telling them this is what's going on. I think you people being a senior brother, you can try to handle it. But imagine that guy who I take to be a very sound and telling me that I needed to take a side. And at the end of the day, you know what happens? After I did not take a side, I say I remain neutral. I won't take anybody's side. I will say the reality. You know what happened? After some times, that lady who was telling me to take side of her and what have you, she even started going to that other lady place to go and sleep. They were so friendly, doing things in common. So one day I asked a senior brother, I said, did you see what's going on right now? He said, oh my man, that thing you were talking that day was true, this and that. Hey, you smart. I said, let's forget about don't talk about smartness business. I was just telling you these are reality, right? I don't know anything about it. Even if I know something about it, they explain it to me. I have nothing to come and pull. These people are women. These things occur. Like we said today, we mostly measure women. This will occur between women sometimes. And they face it. They get rid of it, they handle it and then they try to move on. But why you as a man will try to take side? Why begin on you tomorrow when that people try to face it? You try to look very awkward there. And that awkward face I never wanted. And I stood my ground. And today I've been a neutral person. I even went to that same woman. I said, you see why I was talking before? Oh yeah. I said, no, don't try to paraphrase it. I don't try to face it whatever way. That's the reality about life. Even go back to you today that when things happen, that once you are not the one, you cannot find means to solve it. Like you said, you cannot find means to solve it. Try to remain neutral because you don't know how it's going to be. Be your family members. That's why I said previously from the beginning of the show, a lot of family members today are facing this problem. When one family member and another family member individually they are into problem, you see the entire family want to take side. I live in a community like that. I live in a community like that. And what happened at the end of the day? The whole community, the thing got escalated. Even the police couldn't handle it. It was beyond the police limit. People have to go to court. You know why they carry your brothers to court? Even some of us who wanted to make the peace and other things, we were jumped on. I'm telling you, we were flogged. We want to make peace, we were flogged in in the process, right? But you know what happened at the end of the day? Yes, the people try to understand that we were standing for what we stand for. Even though we have few people connected, but we're telling that there's a reality about it. We have to put things. Our community used to be very peaceful. People used to love when they say Riverview Community Hotel Africa Way. People love to come there. People feel so happy to live in the surrounding. And few people you cannot just move there. You try to make everything, complicated for people. Let's find a common
And
ground.
that's how some
Let's
people
see how
is.
let's
That's
go
how
on the table, discuss the thing. But people felt we're doing bad things. Friends start holding friends, sisters start holding sister. Everybody start taking their family side.
yeah,
My brother, one
everybody
day,
think they
you know
can.
how family work, how two families work can be like, right? People bringing the other one hurting people at the end of the day. You see, we must put end to this thing. And like you said, my brother, you have given a remedies that all of us today we can try to work on. Even when we leave for here and go back Liberia, let's try to be that person that will also resolve, will be there to resolve conflicts no matter how challenging it can be, because you come out, imagine the kind of things that people expect you to be, right? Failure, I was sharing with one of my friends, I said, I think I need to do marriage and counseling. She was like, why you say so? I said, because on a daily time, now small cases can come to me. I'm like, why is this? You understand? Why is this? And I'm not even in that kind of field. I'm very far away, but it's just a sign of I had a lot of responsibility tomorrow, maybe the way people have seen me. So you see it. So if I now go there, Philip,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you. Philip, what you say?
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No, I was saying that your dad is a pastor. You are a pastor's son. So
Philip,
no wonder.
man. Philip, even my dad being a pastor, man, my man.
Finally, and nothing following you so bad.
So I was trying to present. I said, you see, these are things that comes right every day. I see young people call me this one. And even myself, I was struggling with my own self. Then you calling me, but So I just have to put my hand behind me and then we try to settle yours and then try to find a remedy for it. So like we said, you must always be a problem solving person no matter the situation. Always be there to calm people down, no matter how they can be. You know, Jackson and Philip, sometimes there are certain people, right? They can say, even my pastor said kind of talk to me, I can listen to him. But
Ah,
you
Yeah.
go and talk to them, they can try to listen.
yeah, sure.
You go and talk to them because the phrase or the manner in which you are going to speak to them on, you will calm it down. You have seen that some conflicts get very hard to that extent, but as soon as you reach there to talk, you start to talk to that person, engaging there, and trying to understand one another. What happened at the end of the day? That thing just calm down, very cool. You see everything come to itself. When we try to do these things, what happens in our society? We'll get a better living environment. Our people will live in peace and everything there will be fine. So, Philip, let's hear you before we try to take our guest parting statement for tonight.
Yeah, quickly, I would like to say thank you to our guests and again. Thanks to all our followers and supporters. We just don't consider you as our followers, but you've been here supporting us. From the very first day, and we know you be here with us. And again, to our families who always watch, these episodes, we say thank you. To our loved ones, we also say thank you. So um, I would like to. Oh, Miles, what was that? Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, Mr. Jackson, our followers are congratulating you, though. You were
Let's read
excellent.
this one. Read this one. Read this one.
Being, being your why, yeah. Thank you, Miles TV, for knowledge you share. I am a behind the scenes team member. Where's my own T-shirt? I'm feeling. Woo!
Get a people t-shirt.
I don't know that person, but we're gonna get in touch with you. Congratulations, Jackson. Okay. Oh wow, Jackson, kudos to you,
Jackson,
man.
what? Jackson need a big question, Philip. Before he comes on board, he need a big question. You think so?
Exactly
Okay, Philip, go ahead.
right. I mean, he's such an amazing God, and he was very excellent. This one says, Matilda. She said, "Congratulations, Jackson. Thanks for being part of their family." Yes, so she said, "Thank you for being part of us." So thank you, Miles. Are those all the comments?
For now, for now.
Okay, thank you, Rose, and thank you, Tina, my own TG, and thank you to Rose. Yes, I saw
You
Rose.
say your own why? Philip, you say your own why?
I said my own problem.
My stop questioning the God too much. I just appreciate the people.
What's the
I,
problem? I said TG, my
yes.
who's the
Okay,
problem?
Philip. I don't mean anyhow, Philip. Philip, you remember the other time you were asking Alfred to split and split, right? You were asking Alfred.
You know Africa today. We're in Africa next week. We'll talk that other one. Okay. So back to the conversation as we're about to wrap up, tonight's episode. I would like to, tell all of us based on the topic that this conflict thing, right, is very important that we give attention to. And don't forget, conflict is a normal part of our life, right? It's not a bad thing. But what makes conflict bad is how we tend to handle the problem, right? How we tend to handle it makes conflict a bad thing. But conflict on its own is not a bad thing. People are only exercising their emotions, people are exercising their power, people are exercising their reaction, right? Because we all have ego, right? So we want to exercise them. So it's not a bad thing. But when it becomes bad is when we kind of handle the situation unwisely. It's when we tend to be very disrespectful rather than disagreeing, right? These are two things, guys. People tend to be very disrespectful. We all can disagree what your perspective is, Jackson's perspective is, Miles' perspective is. I could disagree, but that does not mean I should disrespect you. No, I need not do that. So, in order to reduce conflicts, small problems, getting into big ones. In order to reduce that, we have to disagree, but not disrespect. That's one thing. And when we tend to solve problems or conflicts, provide solution, we should provide solution wisely. Myers was saying, you don't take sides. Jackson also says so, you don't take sides. You have to be a neutral person. Be very wise enough, right? And make a decision. It's very important. And you don't have, it's not necessary that guys we win every argument. No, we have a misunderstanding between us. I may lose. You may win. You may lose. I may win. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be the winner in this argument. No, we're not looking for who's the winner, Miles. We're not looking for who's the winner. But we should be able to come to a common ground. Like we can give an example of our dear president, His Excellencies, Joseph Yuma Boaka. He was never looking for who's right, who owns the land. He was never looking for that. All he was looking for is how can we establish the peace? How can we reduce, right, this conflict that it need not escalate? So he was looking for means to de-escalate the conflict. So, guys, we have to de escalate every conflict we must see now or in the future. It's very important. So, we need not win any argument, but let's have a healthy relationship. And fast forward, it's important to know that you have to remain calm in every situation. Remain calm. Don't overreact. People overreact a lot. We need not overreact. You have to be calm. You have to be respectful. You have to chill. You have to relax. Do not allow your anger to destroy you. We all know this Bible story about Moses. He allowed his anger to destroy him, that he did not enter into the promised land. Instead, Joshua and Caleb have to lead the people into the promised land. So you see what anger does? Anger actually destroys the relationship you have built over time. Not anger only, but ego also does. Pride. People are very proud of themselves. People are very full of themselves. We need not be full of ourselves, right? We have to, trash these things aside. We have to trample over them. Anger destroys your long-term relationship, your good friendship you've built. If your mom or dad had to send you some money or had to buy you some gift, and then your anger, got you into that mess, what happens? You won't receive the gift. You won't get what you should get, right? So it's important that we understand each other because understanding is more powerful than we just, having arguments all along. And practical things we can do, I'm ending on this, practical things we can do to resolve our conflict is very simple. Jackson said it, and I'm going to build on that as well. Communication is key. Let's have an open communication. Like I said, I always say, I am very big on communication. I like to talk. I like to text. I like to have a conversation. Let's dialogue. Let's talk the things out. Speak up. Let me speak up. Let's try to understand each other. But many people only listen to respond rather than listening to understand. Because if you do listen to only respond, there will always be chaos. There will always be chaos. So let's listen to understand what the next person has to say. The next person's perspective. Let's understand that rather than we just responding. Let's remain calm in handling our situation. And you have to control your emotions, guys. We talk about emotional intelligence. You have to control your emotions. You have to be very intelligent enough. It's very wise we do. And always focus on solution rather than you focusing blaming on, like shifting blame on the other person. You don't have to do that. What the person has done is okay. What you have done is okay. Don't shift blame, right? But focus on the solution, and that will actually reduce conflict in the family, conflict in your friend circle, at the school, the workplace, or whatsoever. And you should always listen before reacting. It's very important. Don't give consideration to your impulses, but give consideration to, how well you can settle things out with your friend. It's very important. Control emotions and always think before reacting. So I will stop here.
Thank you.
Say
Thank
from
you,
nine.
Philip. Thank you so much. Like Philip said, and then that of Jackson, we've been seeing on the internet a lot of time people have been saying, "Oh, our army they are lazy, they are few, they're not able to do nothing." All these kind of things, and it is just in the rightful time we bring out this particular topic, and I hope a lot of our Liberian brothers and sisters will be able to share this show, that every one of us can try to understand that retaliating is not a rightful way of solving conflicts, but
Right.
rather we say listening to one another, and we try to find a very common ground.
Right.
Most people I've been seeing on the social media that really shock me. Like, why the AFL cannot go retaliate? They will be there, they will do this. I'm like, and these people who are saying these things are educated people. And I want to say, it's not like I want to say we are here for any political party, but I want to say these people are looters. These people just want for war to come so they can try to loot and go the places that they want to go. That's how looters behave. They just want to do these things. That all they are praying for. A lot of people in our country right now, as soon as some people are praying right now, I can tell you, my brother, from what we see on the social media, they want to steal. Yeah, they want to bugger around people places. These are things that they are planning right now in their heart. Some of them already started funding their could. I'm telling you, these are things that they are planning to do. But everything God cannot sleep. You understand it? In his own God, in his own will. See the kind of wisdom he gives President Bouaka. President Bouaka would say, President Bouaka is older than that guy from Guinea. Who said, let me
He's a
invite that guy. Yeah,
young guy.
and if he says, yeah, if he say I'm not coming now, you can say, oh, okay, but let's send a message. He's not coming as a little boy. Let me try to. But he said I will try to go there and try to see how best we can go on the round table and discuss it. We said these are the referral channel. These are the referral channel we can pass through to make sure that conflicts can be resolved. But not to be pumping people Liberians. Let us stop these things. It is not a referral way. Do you see what is happening right now in a war? See what happening right now. The conflicts between Iran and then that of Israel and America. You see how it's affecting a lot of countries around them today. Even Liberia has been affected with that. Right?
That's
Even
what
the country we live today has been affected with these things. See where we
that's
are right now when it comes to, you see how things are changing because of this war. You understand it, right? One of the countries that how you call it, India get most of their commodities from, it has to do with Iran. Iran and India bear a very good relationship. These are people that supply India with a lot of things. A lot of things they had that country. But see what happening right now. Do you think they ought to do anything? You saw what happened at other shit are going to, like, bro, all the people they pump it, right? And we still not setting in our own sound man to say no. Let's forget about it. You see the amount of military these people get, right? It is not that we are lazy, no, but we're trying to, let's try to find a common ground. Let's communicate. Let's try to understand one another. Yes, yes. I was telling somebody the feeding was like, oh my, what you say so? I'm like, if Guinea keep on resisting, like Guinea not play, or not more about me from there. I was telling somebody, I was like, I said that's a reality.
this. You have to consider the resources that are there. Other
This thing, we have to consider resources. If we say we want peace and we are fight, me, I'm recommending to the president, let's get Guinea not play, let it take it. It's not that we are afraid, we are escaping something. Philip,
is
what can we do? What can we do? Just to give them that place, Philip, it won't take our knee. We have other resources we can focus on the Philip. The resources that we get will not even finish it yet. Let's go and focus on that one. Let's get Guinea that place.
But,
Same Guinea
but, but
wanted.
Miles, the resources that they what the Liberian government doing with.
You.
What's the factory they have that are making use of the resources? What's the benefit of the resources to the people who are living close to the resources? So when
Philip?
Guinea want to retaliate, we get strength. You're telling them begin, yeah? We stay focused on the other one again. Yeah, see what I'm saying, my brother.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
think
let's leave it. Philip, let's leave it. And people saying, oh, that the same thing that they to Sarah Leone. Yeah, Sarah Leone case are different. We say like brown case. Let's leave them, let it take it. And God will still bless us. We even though we know God not making new land, but God will still help us with new land.
that's
So thank you so much to all of our people. Let's take the parting statement from our guest tonight, and we can let's start from Philip, then we'll come to our guest and we'll call it a day. Philip, let's say a parting statement in 60 seconds.
thank you. And again, will just be very brief to this. Thanks to our followers for this entire week episodes. You were here with us on Wednesday, on Friday, and you are here again on Saturday. So we love you. Thank you to all of our commenters. Rose has always been one of our strong supporters, right? Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Gaman, and thanks to Obaye I saw, and some of the guys I just can't say your name. Yeah, all thanks to you guys. It's because of you we come here always to share our thoughts on crucial topics and life issues that we have to handle together. Maya's television is here to build us up into great people, into positive people, into energetic people. We don't want chaos. We don't want any toxicity. We don't want any, bad situations. We are here to educate us all, mentally, spiritually, physically, and you name it. So thanks and thank you to Jackson for being so incredible. All of your points, were communicated well, you spoke well, and thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks to Myers
Thank you,
again.
Philip.
Technically, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Philip. So let's hear our guest for his parting statement before we can call it a day.
Okay, so my party statement, I would like to start with thanking God Almighty for everything He has done for all of us, including our followers, listeners. And I personally want to say thanks to God for giving the vision bearer behind this platform, the vision to actually establish this. I really appreciate it. Today we will not have the millions of followers that other platform may have, but all of them start with the same level we are starting with. And I want to say that everyone that are listening to us, we are not some kind of robots on this life. We are not, you know, perfect beings. We have our own mistakes. We have our own things we are dealing with, but we are just using our little life experience and little, you know, understanding or maybe wisdom that we have in order to be able to make this thing clearer to you, be able to explain these things and be able to show you the pathway how to navigate through. So I don't want you seeing us to be like we are some kind of more, you know, uh faithful being or maybe, being that doesn't make a mistake. No, we actually, make mistakes too. So we want you to actually take this serious, communicate openly, control your emotion, be someone who understands before you retaliate. Uh, every situation that occurs doesn't require immediate response or immediate emotional attraction. You have to see how best to control yourself. Whenever you do these things, people see your maturity and people see you to be someone they can trust in society. Another thing is you have to be that kind of person who knows what you want and what you actually stand for in a society. Because if you have this kind of foundation, you actually know how to go about with life. Because life doesn't teach you things that you expect; it teaches you things that you don't expect. So you just have to be prepared in how to navigate through. So to the Myers TV show and to everybody who was sponsoring the show, I want to say thank you for having me. And I want to send this treat special to my friend. I don't know if she's following or Queen Annie. I'm so grateful for meeting you. I'm really, really much grateful for the opportunity given to me to recommend me to the Myers family. And today I'm here, declaring my intention to work to work with the Myers family. It is not something I just decided to do. I actually sense the potential in it. I actually see it. And Myers, by the way, I have a little idea when it comes to media. I have a little graphic idea. I was actually doing some of these basic things in Liberia before coming here. I usually have my own Facebook page where I used to teach basic computer skill online because I was teaching back home. From 9th grade to 12th grade, I was teaching computer. So I was also teaching the technical school. So maybe just in case if you need help with these little computer things, we can share ideas together and we can see how best to do it. I'm actually saying all these things right here today because I really want to be with you people and I actually respect the people
Yeah,
that
we are so happy to get you, my man.
so again, I'm grateful and I'm hoping at any time just by our test schedule here in India, but I'm hoping at any time for us to see our best to do the best thing for our people. And thank you so much for having me, and I'm grateful again for being here.
Thank you so much, my dear friend and brother, Jackson El Solo the second. Thanks so much. And we are so much happy having you. And we surely believe that we are going to work together to shift our country, to shift our continent, to shift the world at large. Wherever our hands can reach, we can do it together. We want to say thanks to all of our followers for following us tonight. Thanks for always being with us. We are so glad having you. And thanks to my own friend and brother Philip, who always being here, taking his time as well, to be on this platform. It takes a lot of things, a lot of sacrifice to make. Today we are seeing it very small, but we say to ourselves, in the nearest time to come, we see something big happening, and this is where it all starting from right now. So we always want to say thanks to Queen Annie, who recommended our brother and who have seen the effort of the platform and decide to give his own intention of being part of us. We want to say thank you. And thanks to everybody for following tonight. We're gonna be back here again next week, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for the Myers TV. May God bless every one of you, and please do not forget to go to church tomorrow and see our best to tell God thank you for the month. God bless you as we meet you again. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, guys.